All right. I believe we are live. Welcome, everybody, back to the shit show. Guys, know why it's called that. Drew, say hi real quick.
What's going on, world? Good evening, everybody tuning in. Thanks for stopping by.
You're just a little bit choppy, but we'll roll with it. See how it goes. All right. Real quick, say a quick prayer. Lord, guide my words tonight. Help us do your will now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Um, there's a fair amount to talk about today. Apparently, the word of the day is goyim or goy. Um, Drew, do you know what that word is?
I've never heard that word.
That
I
is the terminology that Jewish people use to refer to non Jewish people. Uh, and
really.
because the Epstein files dropped, the Steen in Epstein implies that a lot of the people were Jewish or Jewish adjacent or very Jewish friendly, like Zionists and things like that. So anytime that they refer to anybody, including the people that were the victims, they use the term goyim. Just as a heads up for anyone that doesn't really understand this, Jewish people and Jewish supremacy is a thing. They looked at a lot. I don't want to say they, not all, obviously, but a lot of Jewish people look down their noses at anybody that is non-Jewish, and a lot of their cultures, a lot of their, I guess the easiest way to frame it would be their the way that I'm trying to word this so it doesn't sound so crazy, but the way that they look at everybody besides Jewish people is that they are beneath them. I've even actually heard that they consider themselves to have two souls while we have one soul. And the Talmud has a lot of really crazy stuff in it that um, I don't want to get into that right off the rip because I mean I'm trying not to make it about that, but if you've read any of these files, there's a very consistent theme: um, extortion, pedophilia, and money. And it's kind of crazy whenever you put it all together. But um, I think the craziest part of all of this, in part right now, JC, how are you, brother? Sorry, I stopped there. I just seen you say hi. Drew, he's saying hi to you also.
What's up, JC?
Thanks for watching, JC.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Uh, okay, so what I'm going to try to do is because this kind of stuff can really boil your blood, especially when you're unaware of a lot of it and what a lot of it is. Um, I don't want it to turn into like some kind of we should hate Jewish people thing. I'm just trying to state the facts of the situation, and you can just perceive them however you want. But the Talmud is a very interesting book that sheds a lot of light on what it is that I'm trying to explain. And we're not going to get into all of that because that is, if you don't know what it is, it's eye opening. And there's a lot of defense of the Talmud from the Jewish community, trying to explain away some of the obvious, that it's just really bullshit. Point being is that it took an act of Congress to get these files released. And I don't know if any of it is actually true, if some of it's true, or is this just a distraction? Because in my mind, in part, there's a lot of other very serious things going on that this will draw your ire away from it. The stuff that they want to do around the world is just amazing. Um, Drew, is there a cat behind you or something? What is that?
You see him? He
I
just went up
seen
there.
something moving and I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, that's my boy who was harassing me. That's why we started late, everybody, because when I came in late, the cat, which I don't know if I try to tilt the camera back, and there he is.
Oh, black cat.
Yeah, yeah, he's a half Maine Coon. He's got a little white patch. The little tuxedo look going on. But
Uh,
yeah, I came home and I couldn't even wash my hands without like, feed me, feed me, feed me. Him and his sister, the two of them. So
yeah, yeah,
that's
I
where we
know.
started.
I, my sister always had cats when we were kids, and you know, when they want food, there's nothing that you can't do anything about it. They're going to get it. They used to rip into the bags and everything if the bags was out.
Yeah,
Anyway,
before you go further, and I'm not
mhm,
going to get too deep into it. So I worked many years in Brooklyn, New York, in areas Borough Park, Park Slope. They're known as they identify as the chosen people.
yeah,
I've seen up hand. Now there's different types of Jewish people. You have Hasidics. You have, you know, there's a lot of subculture in the type. So I've seen the real
seen the
hard.
strings like the fishing string around the street.
Yeah, those are the ones I've actually seen up close how they treat other non-Jewish people, to where like you know, their schools and their food drives, they have all these like big barrels. I'm talking, you need like forklifts to hold this stuff away, of food, for when they have like camps and all their kids go to camps and they have all these JC. um I've bared witness to them willing to throw away and waste decent food rather than give it to,
Don't let
say,
me interrupt you
poor.
too much, but you're talking about New York and what they do there. This is a baby chicken that just hatched this morning. And you
Beautiful.
know how they like to swing around the chickens and kill them out there in New York?
Yeah,
That's part of their Talmudic reasoning. But check out that bird.
yeah, beautiful.
Happy birthday.
Looks healthy.
Yeah.
He and he already looks like he's older than he is, but not that I'm an expert.
Yeah.
I If you told
One
me he
day,
was
one
born
day.
a week ago, I'd believe you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to derail you. The chicken thing was just sort of on time whenever because they do that, they punish the chickens, they put their sins on the bird. And also the strings, if you're not aware, like what essentially they're trying to do is trick God. They're trying to circumvent the rules. They're not supposed to leave the house on Sabbath, I believe, and whatever day that is for them, Saturday, I believe. And so the way that they do that is that they put string up and say, "This is part of my house." What's up, Sub? How are you, buddy? Uh, so you know, this is all like just it's the craziest reasoning to me. Tell me what you've seen. I know that you had to have seen at least the chicken aftermath in New York if you were working for the city.
I've had to. Well, I refuse to clean up after it. They have something in the DSNY they had. I don't know if they still have something called the chicken truck, and
Yeah.
we will send two workers out every day for a week or 2 weeks or however long it lasts during that holiday season, and they will send them into those, the areas that
Rick.
cover those districts, and you're told that you have to take all the dead chickens. We're talking blood in the
Eh,
streets, like real gruesome, disgusting kind of thing. Things where if like people like you and I did it, we'd be arrested for animal cruelty. Um, and there, the city caters to that in the sense of like, yeah, go out and fill up a 30-ton truck with a bunch of dead chickens,
Holy
blood
shit! Is
dripping.
that much?
They can stack up. I mean, the trucks can take up to, loaded, it could go up to 90,000 pounds. So you're talking 20 tons of garbage or whatever you could fill. But yeah, I mean, half a truck of dead chickens, you're talking hundreds of chickens.
Yeah.
It's very bloody. It's very disgusting. I always refused. I never actually did it, but I went out and seen the guys who had no seniority and were like forced to do it. It's pretty. The city organizes like a whole campaign behind it, to where like they pull resources, and they won't pick up garbage and do things and cause a backlog in other areas to kind of offset and cater to that. But yeah, I've seen them call up the city and say, "Hey, we have all these big bins. I'm talking waist high, chest high bins of food that they collected for food drives for their own community, and for when they have the camps because they go away for like summer camp and then they come back." And they're like, throw the food out, and we'd be like, "Hey, why don't you donate this to the homeless or to people in need, to the veterans, to something?" No, 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 we don't give to nobody. You throw away. Like that's the
Yeah.
attitude. Like nobody can have it. Burn it rather than give it to those in need who are non what they are.
Okay. So interesting. What about the Jewish tunnels? What did you pick up anything about that? Have you heard of this? The Jewish tunnels?
Tunnels. No, you talking like
No,
actual
really.
tunnels, like under the ground?
Yeah. Yeah. You never heard this?
I mean, not in New York City.
Oh, it's in New York City. Yeah. Hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'm gonna try and find it real quick.
Yeah. So definitely, and, I had my share of Jewish friends growing up. They weren't the hardcore religious type, but they wear the yarmulkes and go to synagogue, and they'd buy weed and drugs off of people I knew, and I've seen many rabbi types that look the part, very religious. They get caught for picking up hookers in Coney Island.
No kidding.
So yeah, middle of the night with this, they'd be out there smoking a cigarette. Like you're smoking, you're drinking, prostitution. You're breaking all your own rules. Who am I to judge? But I'm
No
just saying,
problem.
I've seen the contradictions up close and personal. And even my Jewish friends would be like, "Yeah, they're out of their mind." He goes, it's
See,
all
you
over
never
the
seen this before. Here, let me show you. Sorry, I'm still trying to get the hang of this. So, can you see that?
Yeah, I could see. Well, I see. Yeah, I see four different boxes.
So, this was in a synagogue, and apparently, like, they were digging holes under. Now, this is the famous one right here, where they're actually in sort of like a sewer system, right? Like, they cut now they're pissed off and that they're doing this, the cops are there doing this, so they're throwing a fit. But they found some very interesting things down in them tunnels. It's actually kind of surprising that you live in New York and never heard of this, because this is an absolute meme, like
Yeah, I try not to
scenario.
too much
Hold
attention.
on, let me
So
show
what
you this one. Do you see that mattress?
the pissy covered ghetto, project.
I think that may be blood, but yes, they found this mattress down in the tunnels. I don't know about this one, but I guess he's associated with that.
So we're
It's
talking
very
like,
surprising to me, though, that you had never look. They dug a hole in the basement. See that hole back there?
yeah.
And they were bringing the dirt out and piling it up over here. Apparently, this went back in there pretty far. I haven't seen a lot of footage of like way deep in the tunnels, but there's a lot of conjecture about what they were doing down there. That yeah,
I
see
mean,
them pulling out mattresses here.
it can't be anything good. I'm hoping it's nothing like nefarious, like anything to do with like abusing people or children. I mean, it wouldn't shock me, but what
Sort of goes hand in hand, bro.
yeah,
Like
like what do you do?
honestly.
Like what are you doing down there? If you're like building bunkers to prepare for some type of like defensive action, I'm not mad at you, whether it's legal or not. I mean, I could kind of understand, but like, what are you trying to hide? Like what? You already
I
have so
under
much money and so much control to like rent buy a building and do whatever you want. What do you need to hide?
So my understanding is that they supposedly were trying to circumvent COVID rules or something like that. But I
Huh.
think that was just a cover story. Is that they were saying that was the reason, digging tunnels. A lot of people would say that's very rat-like, but I mean, I'm not going to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That digging tunnels underneath and all that stuff. So the point of me bringing some of that up is because well, what we have seen in these files, and anybody in the chat chime in. I don't know if I fully believe everything. I feel like it's Asbot. What's up, buddy?
Spot. Good afternoon, evening. What the hell time is it? What the fuck time it is?
uh yeah, so anyway, there's there was different stories, different cover stories for all that. But the point being is that uh, it's sort of it's a different perspective on the world when you don't understand how these people in these positions, like how Epstein was, sort of see everybody else in the world. Like it's okay for them to victimize you. And again, I know I shouldn't have to say this. I'm not talking about every Jewish person.
No,
I'm talking about the way that these people in these positions that are Jewish look at everybody else actually is that you're a goyim, you're a goy, you're to be basically mistreated, work for them, victimized in any way that they choose. The whole idea of loaning money with interest was because they would loan money with interest to anybody that wasn't Jewish. When you're Jewish, you don't get that same interest rate, if interest rate at all. I mean, I'm not in that community, so I don't know like exactly what they do, but it's something along those lines. The point is that I'm trying to explain because you don't even not knowing about the Jewish tunnels and being from New York and being in New York whenever it was happening is kind of strange to me that you had never heard of it. So the perspective of maybe trying to get you to understand what this type of person is. So like to us, we don't victimize people because that's wrong, and we can put ourselves in their shoes and say, that's disgusting. I'm not built like that, and like I could identify with a person that was being victimized like that. The way that some of these people, besides being psychopaths and besides just not even the Jewish thing, it's that they look at you beneath them. You're an animal to them. You know what I mean? So like this is a completely different subculture, and this is why people don't understand when they see this stuff, right? So that's just sort of some of the context for it is that um, it's hard to wrap your head around when you don't understand what it is that they kind of see. Who films the news, right? Maybe there's a reason you didn't hear about it.
yeah, I mean
uh,
during that time from 2020 to 2024, I was very much not looking at. Oh, I'm not clicking on that. Like, okay, this is like the popular thing going around. I'm just trying to detox my
well,
brain.
yeah, I guess I mean I get that. I get it. I mean, because you had a lot of shit going on, but I'm as much as I've seen it, like, and people that I know, if you say Jewish tunnels, they know exactly what you're talking about. There's no like, there's no like, wait, what was that? So whenever I meet somebody that doesn't exactly know that, it's sort of like that's strange, especially being in the town where it happened. You know what I mean? So just trying to make a point of it. I don't know. It's
It
not
could.
it's not a big deal. I think what this shows though is that we have a lot to teach you.
I think maybe they were messing with the algorithm of people in New York, so it was easier for people elsewhere to see it. Possibly.
It's possible, yeah. But I mean, I didn't really want to bring all this up to kind of bash the Jews in New York or the tunnels, although it's funny that you don't know. Um, it's just because of perspective. As you and I talk, Drew, I you remind me of like you're not like the normie, but you are very much not clued into some of this stuff. And in context, it's important to know some of this stuff because it makes some of this shit that comes out in these files that are kind of like if you're reading between the lines, right? It's inferred. Some of the stuff that you're reading, even the pizza party thing, like, dude, like the whole idea that like the um conspiracy theorists they can do a victory lap just off some of the stuff that's coming out of these files, which is what's bothering me. Like something feels off to me. Like I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it yet. Maybe as some time goes by, I'll be able to, you know, explain it, but something feels off because the conspiracy theorists are right thing is very much like I don't know how to put this. Like are they really just going to come out and tell everybody? You know what I mean? Like yeah,
Yeah.
the Pizzagate thing was kind of real.
Well, like you said, a lot of it could potentially be a distraction from other things because for the last several months since January, I've seen where there's been other things previous to these files where it's like, okay, this is the focus, but yet people were still talking about the Epstein files, and it's like, okay, well, How about we put that on pause and focus about what is right happening right now? And it's like, so it's whoever's distracted by what flood people with so much information and so much distraction, everything gets diluted. That's
Yeah.
kind of like an angle I kind of feel it happens every day in many degrees, not even just with these files.
Listen, again, I don't know how to explain this because it does feel like when you're like, hey, these things are happening and you can point to it and through all the way up into this point, it's like everything's fake and gay and they're all pedophiles, right? Like that's what basically if you read this it points to. It's like, you know, extortion, corruption, pedophilia, and like you're just looking at it and you're like, why would they let this go? Like how is it possible?
Because
I mean,
everybody,
granted, it took an act of Congress to do it, but I mean, it's very strange to me that like a lot of it actually is out there. Does this make sense? Like,
yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, and I mean, I kind of like everybody's in on it to a degree. I mean, I'm still over here like I heard somebody talking about it the other day. They were shocked. They're like, "Oh, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton didn't appear in court when they were summoned, and if it was anybody else, we'd have got hauled off to jail and all this other stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, do you really think that was ever going to happen to them? Even if like actual physical evidence, which I don't know how much more you need. Like, Bill Clinton was pretty much almost best friends with this guy for like even after his conviction." There was connections. So what more do you need to connect the dots? But like these people aren't going to be held responsible because the
I,
people would have to hold their feet to the fire,
yeah.
have something to lose.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, everybody knows even Bill Clinton was a coke dealer, right? Like, I mean, everybody knows this. Anybody that knows anything about any of this stuff that's not just totally plugged into their evening news knows this. So, like, the point, yeah, you're right. No one's going to get held accountable, not on any real level. But I mean, just something's happening. And I don't know. And this is like what Patrick's kind of, I understand the whole Congress voted on this, yada, yada, but the timing is off. This whole thing seems off, right? Like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Something doesn't really make sense. Distraction is the best thing I can come up with, like for now, is that this is definitely being put in front of people because there's other stuff that's happening that they want to kind of keep you away from. But I mean, even at that scale, it's just sort of like, are they just going to come out now and be like, we're taking your kids now for our ritual sacrifices and shit like this? Like, is this or is this just going to be open now? Like, what the? It's just again, I don't know how else to put it. It's just the strangest timing, the strangest thing, and I don't know what to make of it and why it's happening. But did you get a chance to go over the files at all? Did you read? Did you get any headlines or see anything at all?
I have not had 2 seconds to even barely wipe my own ass. Not that
Okay.
I'm sitting here with an unwiped ass, but no, I haven't had time in the last 6 to 7 days now.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
and when you and I spoke about that we were going to talk about this, it was like already so close to game time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't, but I'm sure a lot more now. And as soon as I go to search the next day and the next day after that, my algorithm's going to start putting more and more of it in front of me. That's pretty much a guarantee.
What's interesting is if, because I haven't done this, but I've seen videos of people doing it. It's like when you do a keyword search, right? Uh, Keyword search Goyim, and it's like it's funny because it was the number that I was told, but 6,000. These numbers are very strange. Uh, but also the as many times as Trump is in there is a lot. But he comes up in these Epstein. His name Trump comes up in the Epstein files a lot too. Uh, I haven't had a chance to like actually narrow anything down to know what the context is, but it's kind of funny just because people are just digging into it, and it's like when you do keyword searches, there's the Goyim thing is fucking funny. People now know what Goyim is, like that didn't before, right? Like just because of this. Yeah, and like subliminal, it's a good point. Like the Jew noticing. So here's some context, right? The Jewish prophecy, and don't hold me to. I'm going to give you just the roundabout. So the Jewish prophecy that they know is that they need to be. persecuted in order for their Messiah to come back because they don't believe in Christ. They think he was lying. They need to be persecuted and they need to
Be the victim. Play the victim.
yeah, I think I don't quote me on this, and it's something like this, but like a third, or let me put it this way: only a third of Jewish people will be left in the world after this, and then because of this, their Messiah is supposed to come back to save them, and literally, it's like we would all the goyim be put under their boot, and they would rule with God on their side. So when you have just that minimalist Jesus, I can't even talk today. This little bit of context, it kind of would point to maybe they're pushing for this because they're trying to get this prophecy to come true, right? Like if you were Jewish, would you want all this out there? If you were Jewish, would you want everybody to know that you were um, genociding everybody in Gaza, right? Like, like wouldn't you try to hide that more? All these atrocities that people are now becoming more and more aware of. Even the Charlie Kirk thing, he was like, I'm getting a lot of pressure for not just going along with the Israel lobby, and they created a firestorm. He was like, I think they're going to kill me, and like I think it was 2 or 3 days later, he was dead. It seems like they're not trying to hide it, and I think that they're not trying to hide it to provoke the reaction that brings true their prophecy so that they can kind of rule, as they see themselves, right? I don't know how anything else doesn't make sense. I mean, I can be way off, I could be missing something, but like it's amazing because like I said, I mean, look at what they're putting in there. Look at the keyword phrases that you could put in there. Look at what they're doing around the world. Look at what they're responsible for that you can just point to, right? That's just, it doesn't have to be like anti-Semitism or hate in any way. What I'm saying is like you can, like normal people now associate Jewish people with things that they wouldn't have before. And like the more that this goes on and the more that it snowballs, they could be trying to fulfill their own prophecy in that way. Because I think a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world today is to do a self-fulfilling prophecy, like that they're putting certain scenarios in place to create another scenario.
To bring it forth, yeah, and bring it to fruition. Because they can't do it themselves; it has to be done to them. So they got to incite it.
Something is being manufactured. Dude, I can feel it. I just don't know what it is. And please, if anybody, I'll take the guesses if anybody has any guesses. But I mean, to me, that's what it feels like. That there's something being manufactured, right? And when you know some of like what they believe, it's sort of like, so are you asking for the world to turn on you? Because it seems like that's what you would do if you wanted the world to turn on you, right? Like just the way they go about all of the stuff that they do. And I know, like, you didn't know about the tunnels, so you may not know about some of the stuff that was happening in like Palestine and Gaza. But I mean, the way that they do stuff over there, they just kick people out of their houses. They'll just, and this is not supposed to be in the beginning Israel, right? Like this is a separate country for them. Gaza, Palestine, right? They would just, what do they call themselves? There's a word, but basically what they do is they just expand. They just get people and say, our borders are expanding now. Go take all those houses. And they'll just go take them and kick the people out that have lived there for generations.
There's
And this is like,
word for that. Yeah.
I mean, yes, Zionist is one, but there's something else where it's like where they're like the settlers or something like that they try to refer to themselves as instead of, whatever that may or may not be.
Yeah.
Um,
Trying to remember but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Miss Rachel was right all along. Q, you do have a point with this. He's learning. He's learning. He doesn't know. So,
I'm not one.
yeah. He's becoming aware. And it's through stuff like this. And I think, this is what I mean about the tide turning. And I think it might be purposefully. I don't really know how else nothing else makes any sense, right? Like they want this one thing more than anything. They want that one thing more than anything. They want the Messiah to come back. That's all they talk about. What have you done to bring the Messiah back? That's all they talk about. Why wouldn't this be it? Right? Why wouldn't this be part of that? What else would make any sense? Like what I think they're trying to manufacture this backlash. Um, because if they can push this situation, then maybe it can fulfill a prophecy. That's all I got. It doesn't make any sense. Again, if you watch what they just basically do, that so many people are like, "That's wrong. That's crazy." Why? You know what I mean? Again, there's families, and I'm not sympathetic to anybody. I'm pointing out a scenario. There's families in these communities in Palestine that these some of these families have been there since Jesus, right? Like they've been there forever, and they will just like walk over and be like, "This is Israel now," and that's it. That's it. And then if you put up a fight, you get shot. Like they'll burn everything to the ground, and like it's just madness. It's like so. What you have to be trying to provoke something because it's crazy to think of anything else.
And like you said, they're not really going out of their way too much to hide or conceal it or contain it. It's
Right.
just like wherever it lands, it lands. So yeah, I mean, definitely something highly suspicious, nefarious going on. That's for sure. Um,
So, yeah. Um,
I never liked the way they treated people in person, like when I would see them, and like it's the attitude, and I stopped working in those areas because I've seen things where they would say the favoritism, like you can't do this, you can't do that for anybody who lives on this block, and then one of them will come pulling up with a carload of waste or garbage from their own personal business or whatever kind of going on. They go over, they talk to the city official, the supervisor, they get in their ear. Oh, he's so and so, rabbi, whoever's nephew, cousin. All right, yeah, so go do all that stuff I just told you you can't do for anybody. And it's like, but I thought we're not supposed to do that for anybody. Well, they connected and this, that, and the third. And then just like you said, the way I've gotten the looks where like they feel like I'm their, and the regular people were their
um,
their cleanup
they
crew.
feel,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Well, I mean, yeah,
subordinates, and and I'm like, listen, I can't be around this because this ain't gonna fucking work with me. So
right,
like,
right.
I'm up out of here because I guess they're used to behaving that way with everybody who they deal with in their circle, and then when they deal with somebody who's not from that circle, it quickly becomes an issue. And then they play the victim. Oh, I'm the victim, and then forget about what you have to deal with legality wise. So yeah, I've got.
Litigious
I've had a
people,
lot.
that's for
I've had.
sure.
I will say this: I've had a lot of Jewish friends growing up, Russian Jews, Polish Jews, and who weren't really religious, but that's where they came from, and so it's not, we're not picking on anybody in that sense, but there's a divide. There's
I think that we even have to have the caveat. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get sick of saying this shit like all the time. Just you're pointing out what a particular type of person might do, whether it's a black person, a white person, Chinese person, Jewish person. You point that out, and then you always have to caveat and say, "But I don't mean all of them. I didn't say all of them, so I didn't mean all of them." I mean, Assbutt's a solid fucking dude. He's Jewish. He claims to be Jewish. So like I couldn't care less. But like the people that are responsible, I wish I could fucking talk today. Responsible for this happen to be Jewish or Christian Zionists. That's the crazy part. Is
Yeah,
that
I was just
the
clarifying for the audience, not even to you.
no, no, I know. I just it has to be said though because I get sick of doing it, man. Like I get sick of having to say it. Not all black people. I didn't. Of course, not all black people, right?
No,
Like I mean, what the fuck?
we live in a world where if you say it about one person of a particular background, you're automatically saying about all of them is the way it's interpreted to the caliber of society we're living in, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, just again, um, this is the sickness that has infested the American system. This is inherent. It's innate, and you're not getting rid of it. Uh, it's built in now. It's baked in now. Like there's no separating uh, what this is, which is yeah, that's a good point. uh, but I mean, this is what I want to try to just. I want to because I actually want to talk about the snow thing next. But I just want to try and put a finer point on it before we button this up. If there's anything you want to add, just jump in. But this is my point: is that the system is corrupted to its core, and the people that are in charge of it, and probably most of the people that are responsible for how the corruption came in, are there, and we're dealing with it now. So I don't know that you can fix this. It's like a cancer, right? Like like there's no cutting the tumor off. It's an infection, and it's taking over. I don't know what that means for the future. I just think that people should just try to start thinking of it that way, because I don't see any way to separate the two. All the corruption, all the I mean, it's literally pedos. Like like they're either gay, which is like a big thing even in the Republican Party. Like they're just closeted gays. They're pedos or both. Um, or it's just straight corruption to its core. And then you have the icing on the cake is that Satanists, like literal Satanists that pretend to be like Christians and shit. Uh, Crazy, dude. Like it's just fucking maddening that
They
like
want to
this is where we're at, dude. I mean, I just want people to like look around and recognize this is where we're at. And I don't know that any amount of voting gets you out of it.
it's everywhere. Oh, my,
Okay.
what do they call me, Uncle Tom?
Yeah.
I'm Uncle Tom.
All right. So you have anything you want to add on that? Because I want to get to this snow thing. I think it's another one of these things where it's you good?
Nah, yeah, we're beating a dead horse with that, but I agree.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Especially even to the audience, because I think most people even understand that, for that are around here actually get it. I'm going to pull something up. Give me 1 minute. Oh, you know what? Hold on. There was a list of names on here. I'll save it. It's not worth it, but it's like all of the famous people that were in the Epstein files. Trump.
I've been seeing those name lists: Tom Hanks, Robert Downey Jr., fucking Marilyn Monroe, fucking the Man in the Moon. Like everybody's on those lists in some, whether it's before his conviction.
Let's just do it real quick. Let's see. Hold on. Might as well since we're talking about it. All right. You can see that, right?
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bill Gates.
So I don't know if this is 100% accurate. I'm just,
Google.
looking at a next post. But I mean,
Now, these people on these lists could be something as simple as being at one party at one time that had nothing to do with anything, or they could very well likely have been part of some criminal shit.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, all that's true. That they could just be like CC'd on an email list. But
Yeah,
uh
Elon Musk, like George
yeah. Well,
W.
I mean, first of all, I seen the email with Musk where he was asking to go to the island. Point is though these are people that these are people that are in powerful positions in the government, and it's innate, and we're stuck with them, and there's no way to get around it. There's actually one way to get around it, but nobody wants to acknowledge that. So let's just go ahead and move on to the snow because this is kind of interesting. Uh, Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to look for this one that was kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, here's one. Hang on. The stuff in the snow being magnetic, huh? How about that?
Sounds like some type of aluminum based.
Now, again, this is, we have no way to figure out for sure if this is actually. I mean, honestly, I could probably just go out in the backyard and grab it. I have some test strips for testing drinking water and see what happens. But, I mean, if this is falling out of the sky, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's metal.
Very weird.
It's
Alright.
magnetic metal. It's
All that.
It's all the
non.
stuff
It's
too.
fair. If it's a ferrous
This
metal,
is the
that means like
snow
it's
that I melted
magnetic,
today.
right? So
And I put a big magnet
crazy when you think about it,
inside of
actually.
this
That like,
glass.
and then I
Just
seen.
rolling the magnet around the glass.
Hang
That's all
on,
the stuff
sorry.
they spray down on us and they leave in the upper atmosphere.
Well,
Then
here's
when
the crazy part, bro. Like I seen this.
That's creepy.
They're like,
Gas.
this is normal. Like somebody tested it, and then there was like um a note. Can you still hear this thing going?
yeah, I could hear it going.
What the hell's happening here? Hang on. Let me turn off the sound. Um, sorry. Um, there's like this community note at the bottom. It was like, there's a list of like barium, aluminum, all kinds of shit. And it's like this community note's like, this is perfectly normal. This is a perfectly normal amount of stuff to be in the atmosphere. And I'm like, when is it ever normal for fucking barium to be in the atmosphere? When has that ever been normal? Like, that's not just because you can test it today and tomorrow and the other day or even last year and find the same thing, that doesn't make it normal. That's not right. Like, what are you talking about? So, like, people are believing that. They see this community note and they're like, yeah, that's a normal amount. There's no normal amount, dude. What the
It's, a,
fuck are you talking about?
it's an acceptable amount of microdosing of poison that seems to be generally accepted, for the last, few decades. But
Sorry, hang on. I'm going to pull this one up. You got to see this one, too. This one actually looks like it's fucking some crazy shit in it. You see this? Like, there's little.
that,
It's wild looking if you can actually make it out, but like, there's something squirming.
uh,
Like, it actually moves. And then. Now
those look
you
like,
could like look at that one moving.
yeah, they look like little worm parasites.
I mean, any of this could just be like particles or hairs. You don't know, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
some of them actually look like they're kind of swimming.
yeah, like they're moving even against the current, and with the way they curl up.
I mean, in the
That's
beginning, for anybody that might not have seen this, he melted the snow and then he shook it up just to get the stuff moving so it wasn't settled at the bottom. So that's the reason why it's going around the way that it is. But I mean, I don't know. Like, look at that one, dude. What the fuck? And again, there can be, it's from outside. There could be particulates of things. It could be hair. It could be who knows what. But like, that doesn't look right either. You know what I mean? Like, that does, you tell me, am I imagining things or like,
no,
would you expect to see that?
I would want to put that under a microscope to really, really, really zoom in on it. But
Yeah.
no, listen, hair. I mean, to me, that doesn't look like hair. Could it be maybe some sort of animal hair? Sure.
Fabric. It could be fabric, like, clothes fabric.
Yeah, it could be, but
What is
I
that?
don't know. I mean, listen, I know they have this like nanotech shit they inject in people.
That looks like a spider, that one.
So nothing is going to really freak me out in terms of, yeah, I don't, yeah, that's,
There was, hang on one second, because there was one more that I wanted to look at that I seen. Because for me, like I was saying the other day with Tom, is like, two things can be true at the same time, right? Like, you can actually get. Why is this not? Okay, stop that. All right. You can actually get a lot of snow and it not be engineered, right? Like that's true. Um, we haven't gotten a lot of snow like this around here since I was a kid. Um, but that doesn't mean all that much. But then when you factor in all the scenarios that like they're mimicking, they've been saying that there's. Oh wait, here's the. Let me pull this up. They've been saying that we're getting sprayed with shit. So,
I've seen,
um,
you could see it, and to a certain degree.
okay, so this supposedly is a list of stuff that they found. The one that draws my attention automatically is mRNA technology. Now, mind you, this is a post from X, and it's written out in pen I don't know. Radioactive fallout group 1. Radioactive fallout group 2. Radioactive barium slash iodine. Radioactive plutonium and stratonium. I'm sure that's fine. That's fine. There's no
Yeah.
problems there.
Other
Heavy
than
metal
nuclear, what
poisons.
the fuck are they using that for? Heavy metal poison?
Uh I've been watching Fallout the TV show. Have you seen that yet?
No. Is that
Oh,
number 30? It says cyanide poison?
cyanide poison. Yes, right there.
Wow.
It's and this says readings right here. I'm not sure what that 30. I don't know what 30 means as far as readings. Maybe that's some
Maybe
kind of level.
30 micro millis, whatever kind of measurement they're using.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Infectious agents. Oh, that brings up another thing. So, just for whatever it's worth, they're also continually like this. I know of 4 so far biolabs, Chinese biolabs found in the United States
Hmm.
with like they flat out caught this shit, right? Um, with actual agents of like um I'm sorry, I'm trying to do fucking 2 things at once and I'm like trying to figure this out because I ain't that smooth at it yet. Uh but they actually found like COVID and maybe I should see if I could find that one. But COVID uh God damn it, a bunch of infectious diseases, and I'm trying to think like it's crazy shit that like would you'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck? And it's a private lab funded by the CCP because they figured out the Chinese dude that was running it. Uh, can you still hear me,
Yeah.
Drew?
Yeah, you can't hear me?
Hugh Bertimo said no sound. I didn't know if I cut myself out. You fucker. Uh, hang on. All right. Wonder if it can anybody hear me out there? Okay, good. Thank you. Q, fuck you. Okay. Um. Anyway. Um. And this is true too, right? We have them all over China. That's true. What I'm saying is how many people do you think know about um the ones in the United States that are Chinese? Probably none, right? Like, would you know anybody that would know that besides me just telling you? I mean, if you're on X, a lot of times these things will come up on your feed every once in a while, and you can kind of see it that way. But like, it's not on the news. There's no average person that's seeing this. Um,
Well, that's the same for all the farmland they own in Central America. There's a lot of Chinese government type land that they own and have military bases set up here, which is crazy to me how a foreign nation, potential hostile foreign nation,
I
has a
got it.
foothold here and is
I
allowed
got
to
it.
set up. We're not talking about an embassy. We're talking about like military installations, like if they want to deploy troops out of. But previous administrations have allowed that for whatever reason. So yeah, I mean, not shocked, not a shocker by any stretch of the imagination.
Let me pull this up real quick. I don't know how long it is, but let's just check this out real fast.
Of vials of biological substances. Some of these vials were unlabeled. Some were labeled in Mandarin. Others in a code that no one ever deciphered. Others were in English, with names of pathogens that Officer Parker did recognize, like HIV. The city also found approximately 1,000 transgenic mice used for research of human disease, which biolab workers told them were, quote, genetically engineered to catch and carry the COVID-19 virus. That discovery kicked off a 9-month effort by the city of Reedley to address the public health risk posed by the illegal, clandestine Reedley Biolab, and to investigate what had happened at that facility, and what might have happened if Officer Harper had been less alert. Reedley city officials reached out to relevant law enforcement, public health, and regulatory officials about their shocking discovery. The FBI declined to investigate. The CDC refused to speak to them, and on multiple occasions, hung up on local officials mid-conversation. Finally, frustrated, city officials turned to Representative Jim Costa, their local member of Congress. With Representative Costa's help, Ridley officials finally got the CDC on site. Based solely on reading the labels, the CDC identified at least 20 potentially infectious agents, including many in risk group and 3. Per the CDC, pathogens in risk group 3 are serious or lethal human diseases. Despite the admitted risks, the CDC refused to test the samples or examine the unlabeled vials containing what appeared to be pathogens or other biological samples. city officials repeatedly requested and even offered to pay for the testing, but the CDC still refused. Bafflingly, the CDC then reached the conclusion.
The audio on that?
Yep.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, now, this was one of the first ones. They just found another one in Las Vegas. This was in LA, and they just found another one in Las Vegas.
Wasn't there one in Las Vegas where they found human? They were finding lots of human remains. They were selling people's body parts, and it was going under the radar. And there was a big raid. They, arms, legs, not even just organs.
Wait. Okay. You want to talk about that? This will blow your mind if you haven't seen it. Hang on a second. You want to talk about harvesting organs? Holy fuck.
Popping up all over the country now, under the radar ones, where they're, not doing things correctly.
Second. This is in Ukraine. This is a supposed Russian soldier.
Ихняя группа, да, получается, собирала детей повезенных, маленьких, от 3 до 6 до 7 лет, и привозила именно вот в этот пункт. Там их раздевали на первом этаже, а на втором их раздевали. Как ненужный материал, их просто хоронили там в ямах или куда они вывозили. И вот эти ребята, они, знаете, говорили, как будто они как будто какую-то скотину завалили, поросенка или там кролика, да. Ну, они, да, привозили. Как будто какая-то ферма, понимаете? Вот эта имплантация, да. Забирали органы. Слышал об этом, но не верил. Пока своими глазами не увидишь, не поймешь. А когда увидишь, не простишь.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, somewhere, somehow on this planet, this shit is happening. That's without a doubt. There's no, even if that video was fake, it's somewhere, somehow, that's happening. Right there,
That's hilarious. No, I mean, what I'm saying is that I don't know that people are aware of how evil this world actually is, because we've been pretty much pampered and contained in a lot of areas, especially in the United States, where fat people complain about being homeless while they're talking on their cell phones, right? Like, this is another level of decadence that people don't understand. Like, we don't understand where we are in comparison to the world. Just the fact, like, the fat homeless person that I was just referring to can go get fruit in the winter from the store. There were kings in Europe that couldn't do that. It's just, the context is important, right? That said, this bubble that we're in, and this disbelief or not wanting to believe how bad, I get Q, you're right. I'm not saying it's 100% true. I'm speaking to just that these things do happen, and there's been a lot of news, especially early on, about Ukraine and them with the biolabs and also with organ harvesting. They do that in China too. They do that too. It's actually industrial scale in China, organ harvesting. But the point is what I'm trying to point out is that I actually give a shit about people, And I want them to at least acknowledge that these things are kind of, how do I put this without sounding like an alarmist, but like they're sort of at your doorstep. So because if this facade of safety begins to crumble, you'll see this with your own eyes. And that's sort of like what I'm getting at when you encompass everything that I was just talking about from the beginning of the show. The people that are in charge don't care about you. They are not going to try to come and save you. They are corrupt and they're evil. Mostly all of them. And on some level, even if they're not, they're complicit. So to me, that's the same. Like, if you turn your head while somebody's raping a child or doing whatever they do, that's the same to me. I don't care. Point is that I'm trying to make people aware that this is a thing that can happen. Now, what do? Get right with God, follow Christ, listen to the teachings, and do what needs to be done. And I want to put this in context. The Christ that I read about was not the hippy dippy one that was in the Bible that like some people tried to tell you about, where turn the other cheek, because there's different meanings for turning the other cheek, as a matter of fact. But also, he flipped tables and whipped people that he thought were the bad guys, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Like, he flipped their table and whipped them in their own courtyard at the temple. My point is that we can't allow ourselves. I'm giving advice here. We can't allow ourselves to not acknowledge the evil that we know for sure is happening in the world. And right now, they're sort of putting it in front of your face. You're kind of seeing it little bit by little bit by little bit, and it's becoming more and more prevalent to like, this dude's a pedo, that dude's a pedo. They're organ harvesting over here. Like, how long before you actually see it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this, Drew, is what I'm saying ringing through to you as like, is it making sense? Because sometimes I can just blather on.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is going off for years. I see a connection where it's like the common denominator is like some demonic, dehumanizing, drinking the blood of babies, sick, anti Christ, anti good versus evil scenario. It all kind of seems to float around that, like flies around shit or like a rotting corpse. So yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. There's just so much in other nations, our nations, and this state and that state, and it's hard to keep up with. That's how much of it there is. It's frightening in that sense.
I mean, again, because I I'm the type of person that like, even though I'll present something like this is fucked up, I don't want to present a fucked up thing without having some sort of actual solution to it. Because there's no point in saying, look how messed up that is, and not being able to say, don't do that, or like, this is how we don't get involved in that, right? Um, I don't know how much of anybody that's been watching this, the audience, understands, but like, I have seen with my own eyes the underbelly of the things that like people don't really understand. Growing up where I grew up and growing up how I grew up, like I was in the streets, literally in the streets when it's probably started around 12 and didn't end until I was in my late 30s. I have seen some of the most messed up shit, and it's not about like, like not like the pedophilia thing, but what people will do to get over on somebody else. What normal average people are capable of when they're in those types of situations. And like that's why I'm saying, man, like follow Christ, get right with God, because you can put on God's armor. God will, when you're doing what you got to do, you have to do your part, right? So like here's this, I heard this the other day and I think it's fantastic. You go get a shovel and stand in a field and pray for God to dig the hole. It's not going to happen, right? You have to dig the hole, but you have to realize that like when you're walking on that path, that you got that armor on, but you have to do the work. Sitting around and pointing it out and saying, this is fucked up, Jew this, um, demonic that, yeah, that's fine. What are you doing? What are you doing yourself? You know, like, what are you do? Are you contributing to this? Or I mean, on some level, are you just sharing the bullshit and not saying anything? Like, you know, look at this fucked up thing. Look at this fucked up thing. Look at this fucked up thing. Are you putting that in front of people and not saying anything at all? Like, you know, like what I'm trying to. I know it's probably a little convoluted, but this is why I'm trying to sort of end on this note. Is that if we don't start coming together to stand against this kind of stuff cohesively, because you have to do it as a unit. You can't do this. The lone wolf thing isn't going to work. You need a unit, you need a community, you need a people. It's the only way to overcome this crazy shit. I mean, I can't even put my kid in school. Think about that. Like I can't put my kid in school because of the possibility that they will learn some demonic shit from a teacher. Boys can be girls, girls can be boys. It's okay if that guy with the dress goes in the bathroom with you. Abortion's okay. That's great. It's, you know, have as much sex as you can before marriage. You know, like, these are things that, like, you know, it's something that's presented to kids. So not only do I want to do this for myself, but I want to, this is where my focus is at the next generation. My job today is to create, to the best of my ability, the next generation within my power to be good people. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. I want to raise good men. I want to raise a good woman. You know, like, I want them to be able to go out and be an example. So, I mean, I do my best to be an example, and I would hope anybody listening would do their best to be an example, but like, that's the only way to really overcome this. You have to be the example. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you have to be what you want to see in the world. You can't say this is the type of person, the type of people we need in the world, and not be that. It's just like a contradicting kind of philosophy. I've never met or heard anybody say something like that, but who is the type who just doesn't give a shit about anybody and is one of these selfish, self-centered, typical people who their only concern is just this and nothing else. They don't even say things like that. And if they do, we're talking about high-level master manipulator type, narcissist people who really have the script down well. But yeah, no, I agree with you. You have to, it's like what they say, when you're raising children, you're raising a family, you have to be the example. Your kids hear everything you say, they watch everything you do, and them watching you is going to teach them more than, you just telling them to do something, but they see and they're absorbing the opposite. It's not the same thing. So yeah, no, it makes total sense.
I mean, when you take an, I don't want to go too long because we're just coming past the hour, but when I see the world, it kind of looks like there's a lot of offers on the table. Um, and when you can't acknowledge what the offer actually is, you can't see it. You don't want to see it because there's a convenience attached to it. So you don't have to grow your own food. You don't have to try to become self-sufficient. You don't need chicks or chickens or animals or anything like that because you can go to the store and buy it. Well, you're buying it with Babylonian magic squares that actually don't, that it's not worth anything, this money.
Yeah, money's just a representation of currency that, once the
So my,
power goes out and shit goes sideways, you can't do anything with it other than burn it
right.
to keep going.
My
So
my screen just went blank for a second. So did you hear most of that, or did the audio cut out at all?
no, I heard you up until a point where it sounded like you stopped.
Okay.
Like
So what I'm just going to say it quickly is that the same people that we're looking at in the Epstein files, right, are the same people that get their power from money. That's where all their power comes from. It comes from money. So I think it's important for us to realize that we give them that power because we value that, right? Or not, right? If that money wasn't valued, they'd have no power. So don't let the world lead you by your nose because of money, right? Like that's what basically I keep seeing the same thing over and over again is that there's um there's an offer on the table that like you go and you sacrifice anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week away from your family for what? Money. So that you can do what? Buy stuff. What stuff? What stuff is it? It's the stuff the food's not even good for you. It's most of it's poison. It's laden with all kinds of preservatives and God knows what. Even the vegetables are soaked in glyphosate, right? So like what I'm trying to get at is that like money has its place, especially whenever you look at scripture when it says give Caesar his Caesars, but like only to that extent is what I think we should collectively begin to understand that the money is their power. And the more that you focus and chase after their power, the more power they have.
Yeah.
Because you can do it without it. Like, I mean, you can do things without being involved on that level. If your whole focus is just, how do I get my bag? How do I get my bag? How do I get my bag? Right? Like, if that's your whole focus, then what else is there? Because everything else would be second. So, don't let that be the first thing on your list. And I don't mean to sound preachy because when I say you, I mean me. Like this is me saying what I think. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I do that sometimes where what I'm actually talking about is how I try to do stuff. So, money is what you give it. Um, if you're willing to sacrifice everything for money, then you feed into their power system. You feed into what they're doing. But where we're at in this fallen world, because that's basically what it is. To me, this sort of thing is sort of like a test. It's like a test. While you're here, how did you do? What did you do? What did you focus on? Because when none of us get out of here alive, and if you believe what I believe, at some point you're going to have to meet your maker. And when you go to meet your maker, is he going to be like, 2/3 of your life, all you was worried about was getting your bag? Is that going to be the first thing that fucking he says?
Yeah.
Right?
And all the people that you stepped on and hurt to get to it.
Yeah. Right. Right. And don't get me wrong, because I'm not saying that anybody that has money is the bad guy. I'm saying, how did they get it? Right? How did they get it? So I think perspective is important because a lot of people are driven clearly by money.
Greed.
I don't want to put any shade on anybody or anything, but like there's people that claim to be Christians and followers, and everybody's on their own path. So I am not trying to like talk shit, but like their focus while they're talking about the Bible and being a good Christian and do this and do that, they're also trying to get you to the best of their ability to pay them whatever way they can do that. And there's not technically anything wrong with that, but is that the motivating factor for them doing what they're doing? Right? Because even the devil knows scripture, dude. Like the devil can quote you some shit to make you think he's doing the right thing, but like just understand from my perspective that the money can't be the only focus, because when it is, you're giving power to these people, these pedos, these Epsteins, these people, that the list of people that's on that thing, everything that they did, every bit of their power came from money.
Yeah. I mean, and again, obviously we all need money. Unfortunately, that's how this race is set up. But don't sacrifice your moral compass and don't compromise yourself in the name of money or getting money. Work within a respectable parameter of. I mean, I go home and I could sleep. I could put my head down on the pillow and sleep every night. That I am a good person and didn't step on anybody or treat anybody like shit or take advantage of people and scam anybody and all that other kind of stuff. I'm at peace with that. Sadly, a lot of people don't care, and that, like you said, that's going to be something they're probably going to have to answer for when the time comes. And then
I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I don't, because kind of feel like a dick that I just went on and like trying to berate but what I thought was funny right here is I just realized Cubertimo has Meaty's gay picture as his profile picture, which is actually pretty funny. Good job. Um, all right. Um, anything else you want to hit anything else before we? Because it's coming up past the hour, and I think there's some other shows about to go live. But
No, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to switch it up and keep it minimalist. We always go about an hour and a half, 2 hours, more or less. So, yeah, I don't think we have too big of an interesting topic to dive into right now to keep the viewers viewing.
just on another note, I have a guest that should be coming on. I'm going to try to get her and him here for next Wednesday. I know the lady personally. She was actually at the Trump assassination attempt in Butler. She worked for the Trump campaign. She tried to raise a lot of money for him, and they were right there on the front row when it happened. It's taken a little while for me to kind of, I guess, coerce them into coming on to tell the story, but at least it'll be a story from a first person perspective. They'll be able to tell you what they've seen right there in the front row.
Boots on the
So
ground witness. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say a boots on the ground witness to what was happening in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Do I believe her? I haven't heard the story yet to believe. I only talked to her vaguely. She told me she was there when it happened. So I want to hear her out and then just see, what the deal is.
We'll
Um,
hear the story together for the first time.
yeah, yeah. JC is he live now? Is not nice guy live now? Maybe I'll see if I can actually. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll see if I can actually raid him. If you guys want to hang on a second. Um, Drew, you want to close out with anything? Want to see if I can figure this out?
Let's see. What do we want to close out with? Anybody have any questions out there, or any smart ass remarks, or anything fun and interesting? And I can't see the comments. Hold on, I gotta zoom back out here. Where the hell am I? An
Yeah,
hour
I'm gonna
ago.
end up fucking this up. I really got to practice this.
Yeah,
Is that it right there?
be around here too. If you don't post the comments, I can't see shit. Pedals, files, hump
Let
day.
me see. Hang on. I haven't had a chance to even see if I can pull this off. Just hang tight for 1 second. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah. So, anyway, my point is that I think we only allow that as much as we can. Oh, listen to that. Me. Um,
Yeah, I don't have the same control you do either. I'm trying to figure this out, but
that message that he just put. Let's see. Raid. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is probably some bullshit for you to listen to.
I'm trying to click on it too. It's not opening.
Where the fuck is that? I just seen. All right. Raid. And then.
Oh, it's an answer I'm seeing a minute ago. How many times has Drew seen The Godfather? Part 1, 2, or 3? I've probably seen The Godfather 24 times, give or take. That's one of those movies when there's nothing on. Before I got all my cable channels, that we have these days, going back, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that would just always be on.
See if you're still here. See if you can put that link in there again. I'm see if I can try it. Go ahead. You watched The Godfather way too many times. Is that what you're saying?
Way too many times. It was one of those kind of like it was background noise for a lot of times. Hold on, I'm seeing a lot of.
What about Sopranos? You ever see Sopranos?
Yeah, I've watched The Sopranos. I met James Gandolfini once in Manhattan. He was trying to be incognito. He was waiting for his one of his kids or somebody he was picking up outside a business a friend of mine worked at. He was a pretty nice guy. How many times did you say suck a nigga's dick till your neck burst, bitch, for Drew? All right, thank you so much for that compliment. It's very kind of you. Not at Drew, just something funny you can say when someone talks shit. Enjoy. I appreciate that. Very nice. I'm still getting used to this. Never seen Godfather. Okay.
I don't know why, but it seems like as soon as JC puts that link in there, it looks like it erases it.
Yeah, James was a nice dude. He wasn't Tony Soprano in person. He was a pretty nice guy. And you know what? James played that. What was it? Not Natural Born Killers. True Romance with Christian Slater. He played one of the hitman who beats the shit out of the woman and nearly kills her in the hotel. That was a pretty brutal role.
It didn't work. Oh well, I tried it. No big deal. All right, well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Any feedback, something I might have missed? I'm kind of retarded, so I still don't know how to raid. I just put the damn link right back in there. Anyway, you guys have a good night. I appreciate everybody watching. That was the shit show. Go tell Not Nice Guy I said hi, and I tried to raid, but I'm retarded. Have a good night, y'all.
Appreciate you guys. Next time.